welcome to PPR podcast number 230. You know me, I'm Paul. The star of the show sits to my right, the undisputed star, former NFLer and longtime executive with the San Diego Strike Force, and co-host of the Prep Picks with Bert Grossman. Bert, when I heard that you landed us this guest, I started writing my questions 8 days ago because, I don't get a chance to hobnob with NFL royalty. Could you please, introductions please.
Two-time NFL Coach of the Year, three-time Super Bowl winner, needs no introduction, the great Bruce Arians.
Who coined the phrase, no risk it, no biscuit.
I think he also coined the phrase, win or lose, we booze.
Yes, we did. Yes, we do.
Coach, welcome to a show that is predominantly designed for, Coach, we do a big high school football show here in San Diego, so that's our audience, but I guarantee you we have, 90 high school coaches that are all dial into this to hear what you have to say. I hope you can, go back in time a little bit and kind of perhaps offer some advice as to, if you had to build a high school football program right now, what would be the first thing you do?
Oh gosh, I'd start it as young as you can get them, and make sure that every football team that was in my area did what we did. So kids didn't have to learn stuff. You bring them up through the program. I know that's a good Southern way to do it. Start Pee-wee and midgets and bring them to junior high. And the head coach at the high school, he runs all the programs. And he runs football in that town. So that's the way I would do it.
So they're learning their formations and plays and terminology at age 8. And by the time they get to you at age 16, they know it all.
Yeah, but for me, it's more about guys that can teach fundamentals. Actually teach them how to block, how to tackle, how to play the game safely, and do it the right way, and more so than the X's and O's.
Well, can I follow up on that? Because, listen, you're at a different level, obviously, than I'm just a football 101 guy, but it seems to me over time I have witnessed the technicians take over, the X and O's guys, and the game's got real sophisticated, and it's all... They've created ways to create openings and everything, but they've forgotten the fundamentals of playing football. It seems to me the fundamentals of playing football are actually worse than they were 30 years ago.
Oh, it's terrible because most of the time guys can't practice it anymore. There's limited hitting. There's all the limited rules that you put on there now. But if you can't block and tackle, I don't care what formations you're running, you're not going to win.
Could you, we go way back, 1984, we spent a lot of time together, obviously.
Yes, we did.
We did. You had a lot of drinks in my house in the living room. It was so bad. I was almost going to get a restraining order against Clyde Christensen when he was recruiting me because he was in my school more than I was. So I guess the difference, you remember back then, I think you were the head coach, you were the offense coordinator, you were the quarterback coach, you were probably the recruiting coordinator, fundraising, alumni relations. Could you coach now the way, because we talk about fundamentals, is there time for that now, or because the game's changed so much?
There is time, but you have to make the time. You can't coach like we did back then, you'd be in jail. It was a different game back then. The players were different. There was different expectations of what it looked like. Kids learn so differently now than they did back then. So for me, it never changes. It's still the fundamentals and building the right culture that kids want to be a part of.
Well, how do you do that now, especially in the collegiate game where, geez, you basically are running these kids for a season and then they go to the next. How do you build a culture either at the professional level or, well, college is professional now. So at the professional level, when everybody's a free agent and the team doesn't seem to be on the tip of anyone's tongue.
Yeah, I think the NFL is so much easier. College needs to get salary cap and contracts. If they want to be professionals, don't take my money and quit and go take it somewhere else and leave just because you're pissed off and you didn't get to play this year. The college football is in a bad place, I think, because of the portal. It's not as much NIL as it is the portal. We're teaching kids to quit now. And as soon as it gets tough, quit, go somewhere else, don't stick it out. And Bert, you could testify. How are you going to have lifelong relationships? Like we just had about 20 guys from the 1974 team here at my house. this summer. And I don't think you're going to have that anymore because guys just quit and leave. There's no such thing as a teammate anymore.
Hey, what was I like to always go back to 1980s. What's it like? You go from Alabama and Bear Bryant, and then you walk into Temple in North Philly, who probably has more prostitutes on campus than students at the time, and you're playing an old veteran stadium. Is that like a downer to you, or you just wanted to be the head man?
No, I just want to be a head coach, man. I thought that I thought it really was a diamond in the rough. I saw what Howard Schnellenberger had done at Miami, and how he switched it as a city school, got the guys locally to stay, and turned it into a powerhouse. That was kind of my goal at Temple, was South Jersey, Philly, from Harrisburg over, Scranton, build a football team. There's enough athletes there, God almighty. New York down. So just get the best we could get and go out and play the best teams. That's what we did. We changed that schedule. And we were fortunate enough to beat some teams in the East, but not get quite where we wanted to get to.
Yeah, you beat us twice.
3 times, brother.
I didn't want to say it, but I don't count that one in the rain. That didn't count. It was raining too hard.
Well, I have a question as it relates to Coach. Is it fair to call you retired right now, or are you semi-retired?
I would say semi-retired. I'm still consulting for the Bucks until January, and I'm going to do some stuff with television this year again and see how that goes.
Well, television's easy, but I guess I'm a few years behind you, Coach. And during the football season, much like we're going around the clock, 24/7. We're like an assistant coach in football. We pour our heart and souls into this football program, and you get a couple hours off here and a couple hours off there, but that's it. And I was wondering if you could offer some advice. How do you fill that void when you decide to walk away from it and you go from 60 hours a week to 0? What do? I'm scared to death of that.
Yeah, I went to CBS the first time I retired, and I loved the job. I couldn't say what I wanted to say on television, and the travel got a little rough. But then I went back into coaching and was really glad I did. We were fortunate enough to Jason Light and the people in Tampa were just so awesome to work for, and we were fortunate enough to get that Super Bowl win. But now it's playing golf. That's pretty much it for me, and my game stinks right now. So every time you try to get a little better, you get a little worse. So hopefully I'll get better soon. Losing too much money.
Yeah, golf is one of those sports that you have to work really hard just to be crappy.
Yeah, I really do.
Hey, Coach, I want to go back to your no risk it, no biscuit. What happens? You get a guy like Tom Brady, and he's the GOAT, the greatest quarterback, maybe greatest player of all time. How do you convince him into the no risk it, no biscuit philosophy? Or can you?
Or do you have to?
Yeah, it took a little time, because it was COVID year. We didn't have any spring practice. We didn't have preseason games. He was actually learning the offense over at Yankee Stadium, throwing with the guys, and Blaine Gabbert would help put some stuff in, and the guys were doing it on their own until we got straight into training camp. And so that's when we finally got to get head on head and talk. And it as the season progressed, it was easy. Byron Leftwich did just an unbelievable job that year coaching. Between getting Tom the things like Tom liked, and then Tom getting all of our stuff in. I thought it was one of the best coaching jobs I ever watched, was what Byron did that year with Tom.
How much of Tom Brady, you caught him obviously at the tail end. He was still pretty good, but you didn't get the prime Tom Brady. How much of the Brady mystique is real, and how much of it is, I don't know, what's the word? Not myth, maybe?
Myth or yeah.
Yeah,
it's all real. It's all real. He is a competitor. He wasn't going to lose a drill in practice. If he did, he was pissed, and he was going to let you know it. But Tom loved to be coached. He loved to be coached hard, and he was used to that with Bill. And it was so different for him to work with an offensive head coach versus a defensive head coach, and we'd have those conversations all the time. And so it was, I remember a couple there, down in the playoffs right before half, and he'd come over and say, "We're just going to kneel down. We got the lead." I said, "Hell no, man. We're going for some points. We got timeout in 80 seconds. Let's go." And he'd just look at me. I said, "Just be smart with it." And, fortunate enough, we'd go down. We scored a couple touchdowns in those games right at the end of half that really switched the games around. And I think that was Tommy buying in.
I got always fascinated by
Well,
this.
but let me follow up on that though, real quick. Before, what does he have that the other 31 guys don't have?
Oh, it's a passion. It's a will to prepare. Most guys, they love playing. They hate the preparation, but Tom loved practicing. And when I was with Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer, Andrew Luck, Ben, all those guys they hate losing. I don't care if they're playing shooting pool, playing basketball, playing golf. They hate losing, and they bring that to the practice field every single day. So your practices are intense.
Hey, I always wonder this. If you have Tom Brady and you're calling the plays, how many on average does he change?
Oh, in our offense, it was, he'd have 2 or 3 choices every play. And, man zone, whatever it was, run, pass. So we've always given those guys options to put us in the best play and not depending on the play caller. The play caller can get a cold hand, but to put it in your quarterback's hand, get us in the right play, especially if we have a bad one called.
So how does that work? In the huddle, you call 3 plays and then go to the line of scrimmage and the quarterback determines? I mean, that's a lot of time. You get a lot of verbiage you have to spew in a huddle.
Yeah, and you practice it and practice it in communication. You cut those words way down, and you might have a 3-way check, and it's 2 runs and a pass, and 2 passes and a run. The guys know it and practice it all week, and certain situations. And Peyton was probably the master at it. He could take it down to 2 seconds and get to your look. He knew exactly what you're going to be on defense by the time that ball is snapped.
Peyton Manning's rookie year, I mean, the second half wasn't as bad as people look, but the overall numbers look bad. And then you have Andrew Luck, rookie year was just incredible. And you're the OC for both, quarterback coach. What's the difference between those two?
That was, I think the big difference, Peyton walked into a team that the defense was not very good. And we were just average offensively. We had a good offensive line. And Marvin Harrison, Marshall Faulk, 2 tight ends, and we just kept building around him. Then a guy that doesn't get enough credit, Cornelius Bennett joined our team the second year and brought a different philosophy to the locker room. He came from Buffalo, all those championships, and it was his mindset defensively, and then we go from 3-13 to 13-3. Because Peyton took every snap that year, and he learned from all those interceptions. And like you said, second half of the season wasn't too bad.
Going back to Andrew Luck, we were short-sheeted. We should have seen him play longer. Did you ever have a powwow with him as to why he pulled the plugs when he did?
Yeah, Andrew's a different guy. I mean, Andrew's a very, very bright man. And, I think he spent 4 years in the training room, never really got to do anything other than rehab. And I think it really wore on him. And, but that what he did as a rookie was amazing because we were god awful. I mean, we're getting guys off the street left and right. We must have had 18 guys on IR, and we started 6 rookies on offense anyway. But that was the year Chuck got sick. And I've always said, if you can give professional athletes a different cause other than money, and we played for Chuck, and it was amazing watching the defensive kids come in and play their tails off. Chuck finally came to practice in November. I think we had 20 guys who had never met him on the team by then.
Wow.
But Andrew won 7 games in the last minute. And the only kid I've seen do that since is Jaden Daniels last year.
So if we're going to go, I'll give you the answer then. You can only pick one quarterback for your season that you coached. Who would it be?
If I started a program today, it'd be Andrew Luck.
Over Brady, over Peyton, over Big Ben, over Carson?
Yeah, I know Ben's going to be really pissed at me. But I'll take Ben. I'm going to take Ben in the big games because I've been in the big games with Ben.
Andrew Luck.
But Luck, because of his mobility, I mean, they're all
everything. Everything. I mean, he's brilliant. He has photographs. He never took notes. I said, "How do you got it?" Coach, I got it, and he did. I mean, he's amazing. He's so brilliant. But his athletic ability, his toughness, he had that grit I always talk about in a quarterback. And guy would drill him. He'd say, "Hey man, nice hit," and the guys would look at him like, "This guy's crazy."
That's Brett Favre-like.
You know what the people don't realize too is your brilliant offensive passing game mind, you're the quarterback whisperer, but you ran the wishbone in college as a quarterback. You didn't even throw the ball half the time, didn't you?
I went 3 games without completing a pass. my arm was taped up. I couldn't even throw. Yeah.
All right, wait, tell me the story. God, where I think I saw it on Paz's podcast where you were going to be either a bartender or a coach, and then you chose to be a coach. That's how your coaching ended up starting, or being a career.
Yeah, I started out coaching at Virginia Tech, and we got let go. And I'd always bartended at Tech, and I had a little run into it with a local guy that didn't like being thrown out of the bar, and I said, coaching might be safer. And the old equipment manager, Luke Linden at Tech, he said, "Hey, you're gonna be coach, boy? Build your house on wheels."
Build your house on wheels.
Are you happy with the state of football right now?
Professionally, yes. High school, yes. Not college. I think college has to come up with some rules to control the amount of money that's being put in, and stop this transfer stuff. I look at the portal during the Final Four. Guys are getting recruited off teams and they're playing. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But the problem is you don't have a governing body. The NC2A is spineless. They don't have any power. So who's the governing body? It's the SEC is the governing body.
Yeah, it's got to be the 4 major conferences, their commissioners getting together, and Congress. I mean, they're the ones that's the problem. You put lawmakers in charge of this and they screwed it all up.
Yeah. And you've asked them to fix it, they'll make it worse.
Totally.
Hey,
go on.
He must like you, Coach, because he never talks this much. You've had documented so many great days in football. What's the worst day you've had in football?
Losing Super Bowl 45. Man, when that confetti comes down on the other side, that is a shitty feeling. And, I think we had a chance to beat Penn State, and Paul Palmer rushed for about 220 yards up at State College, and we didn't pull that one out. That one always still hurt. We never beat Penn State. We got real close twice.
Yeah, Paul Palmer was good.
Well, remind me of Super Bowl 45. Was that who won?
Packers.
Oh.
Packers beat us in Dallas, yeah.
Yeah. And wasn't it like a snowstorm there or something? That was like.
Oh, the ice storm. We couldn't even practice. We were using a little 60-yard field, I think, over at TCU, and you couldn't go outside. It was awful.
Yeah, Paul Palmer you brought up. He was. I remember he was great. And then didn't you have to cut him once you went to Kansas City as his coach?
Yeah. I was a running back coach, and Marty didn't like little backs, and that was a very, very, very hard day for me.
He was so versatile.
Yeah, he wasn't. But yeah, there's a big difference between him and Christian Okoye, I imagine.
Yeah, a little bit, about 100 pounds almost. But,
yeah, I remember having to play against him. I'm like, I had to go from college Ironhead to Christian Okoye, and it was just like, man, I wish I would have played today.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. You have 3 Super Bowl rings?
Yes. One as a head coach.
One as a head coach, 2 as assistant. Can you speak to the moment, you spent a lifetime trying to summit this mountain, and then it happens. How long do you enjoy it before you're just, now we got to try to summit it again? I've talked to people who've won it all, and then they say, man, it's the most emptiest feeling. Could you speak to that a little bit?
No, as a coach, I think you dream about that Gatorade bath your whole life. And when it happens, that's about the greatest wet feelings I've ever had. And just, for me, we relished in it. It was such a crazy year with COVID and everything the team had to go through and the sacrifices everybody had to make for each other, never going out, never doing anything to make sure you're available and beat the virus first. And so, yeah, we had that unbelievable boat parade and party afterwards. And for me, it was about a week, and I was back to work.
Hey, you brought up.
No, we can't let that go. How
Brady
wasted
joke?
Was Brady?
Excuse me?
How wasted was Tom Brady at that parade?
Oh, yeah. He had one too many tequila ice creams that day, baby.
Hey, we brought up the Brady mystique, whether it's real or a little bit or all myth. Is it the same go with Bear Bryant?
Oh, God, it's real. Yeah, man. I mean, Coach was amazing. Right to the end, people didn't realize, we played 66 guys in every game, and he substituted every single player. No assistant coach would ever dare put a player in the game in Alabama, right up to the Liberty Bowl, the last game. And, I've only feared losing in my life twice. Coach Bryant's last game. There's no way we could lose that. And then, when Chuck got sick and I was named the interim, Jim Irsay told the team we're going to beat the Packers and take the game ball down to the hospital to Chuck. I'm like, oh, we're going to beat the Packers, right, with this team. And lo and behold, Andrew did it. I mean, defense made one play and Andrew goes down last minute. We win the game. And, I just sat in the sideline and cried, and they took the ball down to Chuck.
Yeah, people don't realize back in our day, there was no stars or any of that stuff. It was either, so it wouldn't be like, oh, he should be playing. Why isn't this guy playing? He's a bust, because nobody had a star system back then.
Oh, no, you earned it. You earned
Yeah.
it. It wasn't talked about. And that's the other thing. There's so much talking heads and everything about the game who think they know everything and don't really know what's going on in your locker room, and so, yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, there's so much money involved now that's changed the game, and it's trickling down to high school.
I got one more. Let me ask you. Speaking of the money, what was your salary first year at Temple? Head
I made
coach.
$50,000, and my wife went to law school free.
You made $50,000 as a head coach?
God, that's still good.
It wasn't that long ago. It was like 83. I guess it wasn't.
83.
It was a lifetime ago. What are you talking about?
Man.
Well,
I was
gonna
by
ask
far
about
the
his-
lowest paid. I was also only 30 years old, so
Yeah, that's true.
they knew a sucker. They knew a sucker when they saw one.
So you have the title of being the youngest D1 coach and the oldest Super Bowl coach.
Yes.
Does that get you into Canton, Ohio?
No, I don't think so, but that'd be a dream.
Oh, you're definitely getting it.
Well, why would you not? I mean, those are two. What would keep you out?
Who knows? But
Number wins?
why did I never get to be a head coach till I was 60?
Well, there's a lot of politics.
Chuck had
involved.
to get leukemia for me to even get a chance.
You know why? Because you remember that, I forget the game. It was halftime, and you were cursing at the halftime interview. You were up by
That might be one
11,
of
but
the-
you were still cursing?
That might be one of them.
That's why I took you to 60, yeah. How much you get fined for that?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing. I was fortunate. The only fine I got was rescinded, and I ran out on the field and supposedly slapped one of my players. But
Oh, I remember that. You're playing the Eagles,
didn't really
right?
happen.
That was the Eagles game?
No, it was late. I had torn my Achilles my last year of coaching, so I was in those boots, and we always talk about don't beat yourself. And we had a guy try to pull somebody out of the pile, which is automatic 15-yard penalty in a close game. So I went after him and tore some more of the Achilles and just slapped the hell out of his helmet, and because I was pissed about the Achilles more than that. But then they saw the bag of ice on my ankle after the game, during the game, so they took the money back.
That was the Eagles.
We're 22 minutes into this, and I want to get it back to the high school kids.
Okay.
Coach, your advice. This is a high school football audience now. You're speaking to. I'm sure you're aware. We got a ton of high D1 talent in our county. And,
Yes, indeed.
What's your advice to them in this era of football?
Play because you love the game, and don't let money become your total object. That's not your reward. That shouldn't be your goal. It's the number one team sport there is. No one man can take over a game. It takes all 11, and so to continue to learn to be a great teammate, work your ass off, and those things will come. But don't make that your goal. And parents out there, get off their back. And I see parents wasting so much money spending on these private little coaches when kids are 8, 9 years old. Just let them play.
Well, speaking of parents, now you're in a room full of mothers who are concerned about, they want their kid to play soccer or another less violent sport. What's your advice to those parents? How do you advise them and surely you understand their dilemma. They're worried about their youngsters. How do you justify the risk versus the reward?
I think you learn more and more playing football than you do in any other sport. It's hard. It's tough. But I don't see those kids getting hurt at that age. Not like the concussions that we might have in the NFL. I think the concussions the helmets are so much better. The equipment is so much better, even for youth sports. But when you look at other sports, the orthopedic surgeon's number one knee and ankle is soccer for those young kids. And but I think kids should play 3 or 4 sports. I don't think they should be talking about playing as a football player at 8, 9 years old. That's all, or baseball or basketball. That's all I do. And these AAU teams that are coming in now and say, hey, you can't play this other sport, or you can't play on our AAU team. I'm seeing kids paying $5,000, $6,000 when they're 9 years old, 10 years old, playing on these baseball teams, traveling around. To me, that's crazy.
You got anything else? Because I have one last question.
Go ahead. No, I told him 25.
Coach, when you're doing the rubber chicken circuit and you're doing your speaking engagements, what's your go-to story that makes the room come alive, break out in laughter? What's your money story?
Oh, I don't do a lot of speaking. I don't. It's not one of my favorite things to do. If it is, it's mostly all questions and answers. I'll give a little short team building speech about trust, loyalty, and respect, where we all start and build our culture. But it usually comes down to the year of the Colts, and we're playing Kansas City. If we win the game, we go to the playoffs, and they decided to throw the ball, and we pick it off. And we get a sack, and I don't even know the kid's name. He had just got there Tuesday. Who the hell is that? It's Jamal Westerman. Hey, Jamal, great job, buddy. And Andrew takes us down the field. We win the game, and we go to the playoffs. And I'm still learning their names.
Hey, quickly, give us that culture speech.
Trust, loyalty, respect's easy, man. You can't trust anybody until you look in the mirror and trust that person. I think Bert might have came over to Temple, and there was a big mirror with the poem, "The Man in the Glass," in our locker room. And every day, I wanted our guys to read it. Don't bullshit anybody else, because if you bullshit yourself, you're not going anywhere. Loyalty is loyalty to the cause, and the cause is winning a championship. Respect is respect about the process of coming to work every day. My dad worked in the factories 7 days a week, and he taught me when a man pays you money, you give him everything you got every single day. And so it's respect the process of coming to work, get today's work done. Don't worry about Saturday or Sunday. You got to get today's work done, and let's get it done.
Man, that locker room was rough at Temple. I remember that locker room.
Trust, loyalty,
Didn't you have
respect.
like a meeting room, little meeting room that looked like in the locker room or something?
Yeah, we did at first, and then it got bigger and better. And as we won a few games, we got a little bit better.
Trust, loyalty, respect. Maybe
take a
you take heed that. Coach, it has been an honor, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach.
You know, Bert.
It really means a ton, and we'll post this up. Bert might be contacting you about pictures. If you can give us, anything you own that won't get me sued, like some of your favorite pictures that are property of Coach Arians, excuse me.
Yeah, awesome.
Can you handle that? And then
Sure.
we'll post this up and we'll send you a clip. You probably don't have time to look at it or care to look at it, but we'll do it anyways. And just know we're eternally grateful, and so is the entire high school football community in San Diego.